What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to continue our positional previews for the New York Giants. Today we are looking at running backs. So we've got a lot of running backs on this roster, and it's a great problem to have. Can we find that clear-cut running back? Is there a clear-cut every down running back on this roster? I don't think so, in my opinion. But we definitely have some good depth this year. And so we'll start off with Paul Perkins. Coming in, he is said to be our starter. We'll see about that in the near future. I don't think anybody's going to beat him for the job, so I guess he's going to be our starter. Then we've got Shaun Draughn, our scat back, our receiving back. Shaun Draughn is going to be Shaun Draughn, and then get hurt, and then, be on the IR. So moving on to Wayne Gallman, our 4th-round pick. Pretty excited about him. Always been a Wayne Gallman fan. Hopefully he does good with us in the near future. We've got Shaun Draughn. He's been a free agent signing for us from the San Francisco 49ers. Had a career year of, I believe, 8 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, something around that range, which is not bad. He played pretty good for the 49ers. He's a good depth back. Definitely not upset about the signing whatsoever. So moving on, we got Orleans Darkwall coming back. I mean, seriously, this guy has so much potential to be a starting running back in this league. If there's any running back, I'm talking even about Paul Perkins, if there's any running back that has the best potential to be a starting running back for the New York Giants, it's definitely Orleans Darkwall. You got to see the way this guy plays. He plays a lot better than what you guys think he does. I love his vision. I love his power. I love his speed. I love his agility. Everything. Just everything about Orleans Darkwall. He knows what to do in certain situations. He just can't get it going. He can't get it consistent. Every time his name is called after not playing for a while, he always does well. Look at the game we won against Dallas 2 years ago when Matt Castle was starting. I believe it was one of Orleans Darkwall's first drive. It was his first drive. He single-handedly led the team to a touchdown. Down the field for a touchdown. This guy is electric. He's just a little inconsistent. If he can get that consistency up, this guy could definitely be a starter for us, man. I'm serious. Then we go on to our undrafted free agents. We've got Khalid Abdullah, and you turn this guy's highlights on because I can't find any film on him. You turn this guy's highlights on from James Madison University. This guy reminds me of Frank Gore. Little running back, but has power to him. Very thick. Can run in between the tackles. Has that great speed and burst to him. I love the way he plays. If you turn on his highlights, guys, I'm telling you, you guys are going to see Frank Gore in him. So, moving on to Shane Smith. I can't find anything on this guy whatsoever. So, we'll see what happens with him. If he shows up in the preseason. If he even makes it to the preseason. But we'll see what happens with him. And then Jacob Huesman. He's a running back. He's listed as a running back, but they're working him out at fullback. Most of his practices in the rookie minicamp have been at fullback, so he's going to be competing with Rhett Ellison and whoever else we have on the roster right now. So that's going to play fullback. I think Mark Hertzlick is also learning how to play fullback and tight end, so we'll see how that goes. So we'll start from the top. Paul Perkins, I kind of went through the undrafteds already, but we'll start with Paul Perkins. He's coming in as our starter. I don't know how we're gonna do this because who's gonna be that guy on passing downs that has to pass protect for Eli? Is it gonna be Orleans Darkwall? Is it gonna be Shaun Draughn? Is it gonna be Shaun Draughn? Which I don't think Shaun Draughn's does that kind of role either. Or Wayne Gallman. I mean, whoever it is, it's gonna be obvious that it's gonna be a passing down because Paul Perkins does not pass protected whatsoever. So at all. I'm talking about at all. This guy has very little to no strength. Do I love his running ability? Absolutely. I think he could be a great complementary back. But if you throw him in the starting role and you're giving him, I know it's going to be a running back by committee kind of thing, but if you're going to eventually give him 20 carries a game, I don't think he's going to be doing very well for us. Like I said, I like him as that Shaun Draughn type player. Too bad we already have Shaun Draughn on the roster. That's why I said we should have cut him a long time ago because Paul Perkins would have filled in that Shaun Draughn role, and if we would have drafted D'Onta Foreman, he would have been that give it to you every down kind of back. He would have been that every down kind of back, but that's not our situation right now. Basically, we got 2 scat backs on the roster who are going to be our lead backs, and Shaun Draughn and Paul Perkins. We'll see how that turns out. But I do like Paul Perkins. Can Paul Perkins get like 600 yards this year? Yeah, but 600 yards is not enough from your starter. So he can get 600 to 700 yards. Moving on to Shaun Draughn, Shaun Draughn can't stay healthy. I love what he plays. He always does something great, whether it's on special teams, whether he's catching the ball, running the ball, whatever it is. Shaun Draughn always does well. He was never a product of New England's offense. He did very well for us. Actually had a better year for us than he did in all his years in New England, and people still said he could have done better. That's how high his ceiling is. But he just can't stay healthy. Whenever he gets back on the field, it's like John Beeson. Very high talent, but whenever he gets on the field, he gets hurt, and there's no point in having great talent if you can't use it. So Shaun Draughn is going to be a problem whether he can stay healthy or not, but if he could come in, be that number 2 back behind Paul Perkins, that would be great. Like I said, I think they're the same player in a lot of aspects. But he could very well run the ball very well as well. He had the highest yards per carry in the beginning of the season than any of the running backs on the roster. So, yeah, this guy could run the ball as well. Moving on, we got Wayne Gallman, our 4th round pick. I like him. Like I said, we have too many of the same running backs on this roster. We got Shaun Draughn, Wayne Gallman, Shaun Draughn, Paul Perkins. They're all the same to me. They're all littler backs. I know Wayne Gallman is the bigger of them, probably the most power back of them, but he's still not that power guy. He's going to run in between the tackles. I love his running style. He is a tough and gritty player, but just in my opinion, he's a bigger and taller and stronger Paul Perkins, but he's not that much of a difference. But I still like this draft pick. Hopefully he could do something well. I don't know where we're going to fit in the carries for him per se, because we got Paul Perkins and Shaun Draughn. They could pass catch with the ball, and so can Wayne Gallman. So who's going to be getting those kind of touches on at what points of the game? Who's going to have more touches than who? It's kind of very shaky at this point. But like I said, it's a good problem to have. At least you don't have scrubs everywhere, on your whole depth chart, and you're just with one guy. I mean, at least we have a bunch of guys that come in and compete, and we'll settle the depth chart when we get there. Moving on to Shaun Draughn. Like I said, he could also pass catch out the backfield. He could run the ball. There's not much to say about these guys. I'm serious. I mean, you guys, I don't know what you guys expect me to say about each running back. They're almost like the same player. I don't know. I don't know what Jerry Reese was thinking at this point. We're setting up for the power run game scheme, but we can't find a power runner. I don't understand. But moving on, Orleans Darkwa. This is the only running back that I see has a chance to make the roster that is different from all the other running backs. He is definitely, in my opinion, can be a power back. Is he, that huge back? Like a Deontay Foreman, who I was really obsessed with coming into the draft. No, he is not, but he can still get the job done. Has great power, can really hit a linebacker. I mean, he ran right through Eric Kendricks on that touchdown last year, if you guys saw that. Like I said, Dallas 2 years ago ran through 3 defenders to get inside the end zone for 15 yards. He was dragging people, man. His speed as well, his burst, his vision, the way, if he doesn't see a hole opening up somewhere, he'll kick it back somewhere else and run for more yardage. Orleans Darkwa, in my opinion, is the most balanced back, the most complete back that we have on this roster, but he can't stay, he's not consistent. And on top of that, he has some injury problems as well. He's a few times he showed up on the injury report and was the reason why he wasn't able to play. So, Orleans Darkwa, definitely rooting for this guy. Hopefully one day he could be the starter. But until then, we'll have to see. Khalid Abdullah, like I said, Frank Gore type player. Should any injuries happen, Shaun Draughn gets hurt, or Shaun Draughn in the near future gets hurt, which is probably a possibility, I can see Khalid Abdullah making the practice squad and getting onto the final 53-man roster at some point in the season and getting some carries there. Shane Smith, haven't heard anything from him. And then Jacob Huesman, like I said, is lining up more so as a fullback than anything else. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Oh, I got to make my unofficial depth chart. Who's making the roster, who's not. Now, I'm not going to, do the math per se right now because you can only have 53 people on the roster, and then you can only have a certain amount of running backs, certain amount of quarterbacks, certain amount of wide receivers, certain amount of defensive ends. You guys know what I'm saying. So I'm just gonna give a rough estimate of how much players I think the Giants are gonna keep. So I think the Giants could keep about 4 running backs. They're probably gonna do that like they did last year, keep 4 running backs because there is a lot of talent, and we're not dealing with scrubs. We're dealing with people who have proved themselves in the league or in the college. So we've got Paul Perkins. He's going to be our number 1, obviously. We got Shaun Draughn is going to be our number 2. We got number 3. Number 3, I'm going to assume, just because of seniority at this point, I'm going to assume it's Orleans Darkwa. Number 4, I'm going to assume it's Wayne Gallman. And then number 5, if we keep that 5th guy, Shaun Draughn, somebody's getting cut. And I think it's going to be between Vereen, Shaun Draughn, and Orleans Darkwa. Vereen because he has injury problems and he's getting up there in age. Oh, matter of fact, I don't even think he's that old. I think he's like 29 or 28 or something like that. But if Vereen gets hurt, just know that he's going to be out of here. And Shaun Draughn and Orleans Darkwa are definitely on that bubble too. But I think Wayne Gallman and Paul Perkins are pretty much locked to make this roster. So yeah, then Khalid Abdullah, Shane Smith, and Jacob Huesman, we're not going to see much from them. They may prove me wrong, but I don't think we're going to see much from them. And that's all I got for you guys today. Next day will be wide receivers, and I'll see you guys in the next video.